Coming up today, we got a minor tariff pause on EU. BYD slashes prices up to 35%, making the EV in China stocks tumble. Walmart is saying that tariffs are still too high for consumers and want to see them come down. And we have Trump Media Group raising money to buy crypto. And a lot more with the overall stock market. Let's get into everything that you guys need to know for this week. And honestly, it's going to be a big week for the stock market overall and AI stocks. We have a lot to talk about, and you guys don't want to miss anything in this video. And we're going to be giving you guys some plays that can get 100 to 1,000% towards the end of the video. You don't want to miss it. Let's get started. This is for the people that are ready to bring their trading to the next level. I have an option course, and it tells you guys everything that you guys need to know, how to read charts, teaches you guys option strategies and how to not really lose money on option plays. Because honestly, if you're trading it without a strategy, you will lose money. And a lot of you guys probably already know that. Check out the course below. I try to teach you guys everything that you guys need to know, but this is just to have next to you while you trade. And I promise you, you will make your money back in the first day of trading, unless you get FOMO or something like that. All right, so to start, so Trump tariff live. So basically, Trump pushes back the EU tariff deadline, basically having a 50% tariff. And honestly, it's still threats on Apple and Samsung, basically saying that if their phones isn't made in the US, they're gonna suffer a 25% tariff on non-US made phones. So Samsung and Apple is gonna be affected by that. So look at Apple and Samsung to the downside. With that being said, the 50% tariff is on pause, I think until June 8th. So keep that in mind because this can bring European markets up. This did already bring futures up. And honestly, it is insane. Sorry, July 9th. So 9th of July. So honestly, have your patience because this can come back the 9th of July. And honestly, markets can really dip because of this if it does come back. But they did say that they want to start making deals. So honestly, they did do this pause to make the deals happen. And hopefully we get a good deal so that we don't get affected by this no more. So European markets did rebound after this. So honestly, man, this can bring certain stocks up. I do recommend watching some because they do manufacture cars and stuff like that and send it to the US. And those did get affected. And you can see a back up to the upside on Tuesday. Monday, stock market was closed. So keep that in mind. We got BYD slashing prices up to 35%. And Chinese EV stocks are tumbling because of this. If you guys don't know what BYD is, it's basically the competition for Tesla. And honestly, they're overtaking them in the Chinese market. And honestly, man, if they start coming to the US or anything like that, I think Tesla is going to have a big disadvantage just because of everything that they do. And they even came out with that fast charging. You can charge your car in like 5 minutes or something like that. So BYD is kind of insane in the EV market, but you got to keep in mind now that Tesla is doing way more. You know, they're announcing the robotics and stuff like that. And the robots are going to bypass their EV sector by a lot. So honestly, in the next couple of years, I'm sure Tesla isn't going to be really worried about their sales or anything like that for their cars. Mainly going to be more focused on their AI and their robotics. So now let's get to the overall calendar. So Monday, stock market was closed, Memorial Day. Hopefully you guys had a great day off. Let's get started. Let's make some money on this Tuesday and this short week. So on Tuesday, we got some durable good orders. We got a price index for the S&P, consumer confidence. This can really move the market 30 minutes after. We got another speech in Tokyo. So we got a bunch of speeches in Tokyo. Keep that in mind. Wednesday, we got an FOMC meeting. So keep that in mind. This can move the market depending on what they say. Thursday, we got initial jobless claims. This normally moves the market a decent amount. So keep these numbers on your radar. That is an hour before market opens. We also have GDP, a little speech, pending home sales, some other speeches. On Friday, we got personal income, consumer spending. This can really move the market. PCE index, PCE overall. We got advanced US trade balance and goods, retail inventories, wholesale inventories, Chicago business PMI, consumer sentiment, the final 30 minutes after market opens. And then we got a speech at 4 p.m. That's like 45 minutes after market opens. So keep that in mind for next week. We also have the earnings calendar. Nothing really too major except for tomorrow after close. We have NVIDIA. So honestly, for day traders out there, if you guys are trading option plays, understand that the options are going to already have their premiums and already have the prices set both ways. So honestly, you can lose a lot of money playing options. So I do recommend playing other stocks like AMD, just other chip stocks, some stocks related to NVIDIA. So like Oracle, CoreWeave, those that are kind of having deals with NVIDIA. And keep in mind that their speech afterwards, if you guys are listening to their speech, You could probably get into an early play, but you can only buy shares. This is going to be after close. But sometimes they announce deals and stuff like that, so that can be good. We also have Macy's, Dick's, stuff like that that might show consumer spending. On Thursday, Foot Locker. Foot Locker is kind of moving decent, but not really. But you can maybe see a big move with Foot Locker. Best Buy is another consumer sentiment, basically showing like what consumers are spending, especially in the electronics sector. Costco is another one. Dell is okay. And honestly, you guys can screenshot this if you guys are interested. So we have Walmart basically saying tariffs this month. I would say it's still too high for consumers. We like to see them come down more. So basically saying that the 10% tariff, even if it gets the minimum, is still too high for consumers and people will see those price hikes anyway. So honestly, kind of just urging Trump to push down the tariffs even more. But honestly, man, you might see price hikes in stocks overall. Another one is Trump Media Group, DJT. If you guys don't know the stock, it moves pretty decently. And they just raised $3 billion to buy crypto, which is a decent amount of money. I'm not even going to lie. And if we look at stocks like MSTR, Coinbase, they all have a big holding in Bitcoin and they move basically with Bitcoin. So you can start seeing DJT start moving decently. Honestly, if Bitcoin goes up, it's going to go up. So honestly, if they get into the sector of basically crypto, it's going to start moving with crypto. And this stock is still relatively cheap. And honestly, the more crypto they buy and the more Bitcoin they buy, the more their stock's going to move based on Bitcoin. So keep that in mind. So first stock I want to talk about is Philip Morris International. If you guys don't know what this one is, they basically make Zins. If you guys don't know what Zins are, honestly, you've probably been off the internet. There's a lot of memes and stuff like that, but it's been taken over and in a constant bullish trend. I just wanted to show you guys this one. Is honestly, man, you can probably see it to the upside even more. And it's just been moving pretty decently. I'm going to make a separate video on this in the future, but I just wanted to show it in the daily video to get you guys in on it basically pretty early. So keep that in mind. So NVIDIA to launch cheaper Blackwell AI chip for China. Basically, I already announced this before, but I wanted to announce it again because he might announce some more information on this. So keep that in mind during the speech after the earnings. He might talk about this one a little bit more because they did lose, I think, $6 or $16 billion with not being able to sell the H20 chip. And this is going to be the next H20 chip. And it's a Blackwell. So it's going to be pretty decent. And honestly, might bring NVIDIA stock up, especially with like basically losing a lot of money at first. This one is going to basically be cheaper. It's going to be 6,500 to 8,000 when the old one, the H20 chip, was 10 to 12,000. So it's going to be cheaper. And honestly, man, they might get more sales and stuff like that. So keep that in mind overall. Largest US pension sells Apple stock. So I just want to announce this because people are selling Apple stock. If you guys didn't watch my update on the 100K, honestly, I'm trying to turn 100K into millions basically in the future. And I just make updates on it. And my Apple stock is down by like $1,000 right now, which is honestly insane. But everything else is up and I'm still in the green for it. But at the same time, Apple stock hasn't really been looking that good with the 25% tariffs recently and not really looking too good overall. But basically being behind in AI and stuff like that. It just hasn't really been looking that good. But honestly, Apple overall is a great company. They have a lot of cash. And honestly, I don't think it's going to die too much. But largest US pension sells it and they're buying Meta, AMD, and McDonald's. So keep Meta, AMD, and McDonald's on your radar because people might start loading up because of this. Like other people might follow them and sell their Apple stock because a lot of people like to follow big pensions and stuff like that. So you might see Apple stock sell off a little bit more and people buying into these stocks. So I just wanted to announce that in case you guys are interested. So speaking back on the crypto sector, so Coinbase faces another data breach lawsuit claiming stock drops damages. So basically look at Coinbase to the downside because it's bad news because Coinbase has been getting a lot of lawsuits and a lot of bad news, honestly. So keep that in mind to the downside, but it's still going to move with Bitcoin. And Bitcoin hit like 111,000 this weekend and then it's back down to 108,000. But honestly, man, it's been moving pretty decent. I'm not even going to lie. I think we can break that 110K level again. Honestly, keep this on your radar because if we can break above that and start going up even more, look at that 111 and then that 112, and then maybe we can even get 115 in the future, maybe even this week if Bitcoin keeps on rallying. And stocks to watch, of course, MSTR. They did announce that they bought, I think, like 500 or I think $800 million worth of Bitcoin once again. Sorry, my apologies. So they bought 4,000 Bitcoin worth 427 million. And honestly, they're holding 580,000 Bitcoin overall, but they're just loading up week by week, getting more money. And honestly, this stock moves like a big amount. We recently seen at 420 and you might even see it spike up after market open. But honestly, MSTR is one to get. Another one is Coinbase. I do recommend getting into Coinbase too. It's a little bit cheaper than MSTR for like option plays. So let's just go to May 30th. And honestly, man, look at it. It's $870. If we go to MSTR, it's going to be around 1,300. You know, you're not really spending too much more. But if we go over to IBIT is a little bit cheaper. It's like $200 for a contract. So it's not too bad. You're not risking too much money and you can make a decent amount of money off of these, especially the way that it moves. But I do recommend looking into IBIT if you guys do want to trade or be part of that Bitcoin sector, basically. People are saying Bitcoin is basically the next gold. So I do recommend getting into IBIT and or Bitcoin to make your money, some short-term trades, and even some long-term trades too. So honestly, man, I keep these ones on your radar, especially if they start moving. But let's get into some overall stocks that everybody knows about. The first one on our list is overall SPY. Honestly, if you guys don't trade this, you guys are living under a rock. Nah, I'm kidding. But we have been pretty bearish in the short term. But honestly, this great news with, you know, a little bit of a pause with the European tariffs, it might bring it up a little bit more. So honestly, to the upside, look at 583.5, 585.5, and that 588.5. And then past that, look at 590. If we can break above 590, look at 595.5. And then maybe we could touch that 600. But I think to touch that 600, even that 590, we're going to need some better news in this because honestly, man, the market has been falling in a bearish trend. And honestly, we're still looking bearish. So let's just see how it opens up today. And then to the downside, look at 575 and then all the way down to 573.5 and then all the way down to 570. If we can break below 570, look below even more, 568.5 and then that 565 level for the SPY. For Apple, honestly, still pretty bearish. We fell down a big amount, especially when that tariff news hit. I don't think there's a pause on the Apple iPhones. I have to look more into that a little bit more. I didn't really see anything about it. So to the downside, look at 195. 193.5. And then if we can break below that 190, we're going to be looking like really, really bearish on Apple. And honestly, might even go down a little bit more to 188.5 and 185. But keep in mind that this tariff isn't really too bad. Honestly, it's only 25%. Honestly, in my opinion, I think it's going to cost them more than that 25% tariff to move to the US. And honestly, it's just going to cost them way more. So honestly, I think we might have a little bit of a bottom with Apple and then we might start going back up, maybe back up to that 200 and then maybe that 205 to that 210 level. But Apple kind of just been moving around in this big range all the way down to like that 190 to like that 210 range for a while now. So honestly, man, look at it like maybe 190 flat. That might be the lowest that we go and then we might start bouncing up. But honestly, for Apple, just have your patience. And if you do see it fall below that 190, you could probably make a little bit more money to the downside and then start playing it to the upside. Next one is going to be NVIDIA. It's going to be very, very volatile. A lot of people are hyping up the earnings. So honestly, you might see it to the upside a little bit more. But keep in mind that the premiums are already shot up and they're probably going to be even more shot up when it opens up on Tuesday. So to the upside, look at 132. 133.5 and then 135 and then all the way up to that 140 level for NVIDIA. If we do start falling off for some reason, maybe people aren't really that hyped for their earnings, they might start selling off. Look at that 130 flat, 128.5 and then all the way down to that 125 level for NVIDIA. But honestly, this is one that I do recommend waiting until after the earnings just so you don't lose that much money on the premiums because honestly, you might lose a lot of money. Palantir is next. So Palantir has been kind of falling, kind of been looking bearish, but slowly looking bearish. It moves a decent amount throughout the day, but if you just look at these higher lows, looking pretty bearish right now. But honestly, maybe NVIDIA can bring it back with this great earnings, maybe even announce something with Palantir and or a great deal with Palantir. I think after we hit like that 130 to that 135 level, we kind of fell down even more with Palantir and just hasn't really been holding up. Honestly, I think there's just a lot of hype in this stock. A lot of people are pumping it up. So honestly, man, look at this range first, that 126 all the way down to that 120. And honestly, if it breaks above that 126, look at 127.5, 128.5, and that 130 level. And if we fall below that 120 level, look at 119.5, and then all the way down to that 118, 116.5, 115, and then all the way down to that 110 level for Palantir. It's another one to have your patience with. I don't even recommend trading it in the short term unless you see it break one of these levels. So please have your patience. Next one is Tesla. We have been moving pretty strong, coming out with the robotics. Everybody's pumping up robotics. It's a big sector. And I think for the long term, it will be worth your while. But in the short term, this is another one to have your patience with. I think we just got to wait for overall news and better sentiment in the market overall. But to the upside, look at 350. If we can break above 350, look at 355 and 360. To the downside, look at 336, 330 flat, and 327.5. And then below that, look at 320, 315, and 310 for Tesla. Honestly, like I said, please have your patience with this one. And honestly, yeah, man. But honestly, man, overall, man, the stock market isn't looking too bad, but we are looking more bearish again. We have been looking pretty decent. If we go to like the monthly, we are pretty green. But honestly, for the weekly and the daily, we're not looking too great with the market. So I think everybody's just anticipating more news and anticipating the NVIDIA earnings. So please just have your patience overall with trading. And honestly, man, don't have FOMO. Thanks for watching the video. Smash that like button, subscribe if you guys are new. Comment down below what stocks you guys are looking at and maybe some stocks you guys want me to add on to the daily videos, and check out some other videos. I'll try to help you guys become financially free and give you guys more challenges and stuff like that in the market and teach you guys how to trade and become profitable, because that is the main thing. You can make a lot of money on the stocks, and check out some of the courses below. Peace out.